Scott here, live in Monmouth County, New Jersey, as always. The game is about to kick off in just a few seconds. The game I'm talking about is Liverpool hosting West Ham. West Ham, who beat Liverpool down in London earlier in the season. I think that was in November or December, and really was a game that derailed Liverpool season a whole bunch. I think that's really where people jumped off a Liverpool bandwagon as far as their hopes of winning the title. But anyway, let me just run through the lineups real quick. I'm going to take a seat. My scoreboard is off, but that is okay. And here's your Liverpool lineup. It's Alisson, the back four minus Matip, plus Konate. Little bit of an injury from Matip. Liverpool picking up a few injuries here and there. After 2 weeks ago, we had a clean bill of health for once, but a couple injuries coming back. You've got Keita, Hendo, and Fab, and then you've got a nice front three of Luis Diaz, Sadio, and Mo. So let me, like I said, let's just try this out real quick. All right, that seems to work. You can hide those. And I think we're in business here. All right, so just for the hell of it, I can throw up the West Ham starting lineup as well. You've got Fabianski, Zuma, Cresswell, Craig Dawson. There was a chance that I just missed. We're only a minute into the game, and Salah seemed to be threatening somehow. Sorry, I kind of missed that moment right there. But no worries, there will be others, I'm sure, as Robbo is on the ball here on the left-hand side. Fabinho's got the ball. He's passing it to Diaz, who is actually deeper than Andy Robbo. Anyway, let me finish the West Ham lineup. You've got Johnson, Souček, Vlasic, Croatian, Pablo Fornals, and a front three of Lanzini, Antonio, and Jared Bowen. So that's an interesting lineup. It's a little, I see a couple players that aren't maybe necessarily playing their natural position. I was thinking of Lanzini and Fornals. Usually I would probably switch those two, and then Lanzini maybe in the 10 spot a bit more. Yeah, there was Salah thrown on goal. He was zooming past Kurt Zuma, honestly, no pun intended there. And Fabianski makes a knee save. Liverpool's bench is Jota, Origi, Minamino, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Curtis, Harvey Elliott, who I'm surprised did not get the start today, James Milner, Joey Gomez, and Creven Kelleher. And there's your West Ham bench. The top scorers in the league coming into today's game are Mo Salah, Diogo Jota, and Sadio Mane. And Heung-min Son there was a ball played in from the left-hand side, and Virgil tried to score on a half volley of a back flick. As he felt he was getting held. That goes out for a goal kick, but that was a lovely little attempt there. Heung-min Son down the bottom there, just to show you that this is not a Liverpool top scorers chart, but the entire league, which is just incredible. Liverpool having a great season, really just scoring loads and loads of goals. So, that's always fun to see as a neutral, and of course as a Liverpool fan. There's Hendo, who pops it over the middle, and it's Salah who brings it down. Craig Dawson puts a challenge in. He thinks he got the ball, and it looks like it came back off of Salah, and this will probably be a goal kick, but Liverpool definitely on the front foot here today. Wow, Sadio didn't even touch that one, as he just left it for Salah. Here's the challenge again. It's Craig Dawson. It's a little sloppy from the ancient Englishman, but he does get the ball. He also gets some of the player. They do have given a corner, and it was Virgil who was darting for the near post. very scary for West Ham supporters watching that sight, but he missed it, and it was Kurt Zouma who was able to clear the ball. Let me kind of position myself a little bit more. I'm going to jump up and get my foot on the ball. Here's Konate who brings the ball down. As you can see today, some of you fans or followers might be wondering what it is I'm wearing. This is a little bit of a concept kit. It is what the home kit would look like if it were white. So I've got my hands on this one, and hello, I am new here. I have seen some of your reactions. That's great, TD5. I'm so glad that that has come across your computer or mobile device, and I hope you enjoyed them. Let me know what some of your favorite ones were. There's been some fun ones recently, including the Carabao Cup penalties. Trent's had some great goals. Divock Origi against Wolves was great. And my personal all-time favorite, how could you beat the Alisson header? That was something special. I think that's the video with the most views. Last I checked, it was like 4,000 or 5,000 views there. So anyway, TD5, thank you for tuning in. I hope you'll enjoy today and stick with us. Let me know where you're tuning in from, what club you support, and any predictions or comments that you have throughout the course of the game. Happy to discuss those things with you. And while Liverpool are set to defend this corner kick, a little bit of involvement from Jonathan Moss, the referee, as I don't know, some shenanigans were going on in the box. Alisson header was crazy. That's right, TD5. Amazing. And Liverpool fans, as I said last stream, are Liverpool fans are proud to claim that both of our goalkeepers are goal scorers. With Queven Kelleher scoring the winning penalty last time, that was nuts. And Alisson, of course, with the header. So that's pretty unique from your club's perspective. This is, TE5 says, I am from Leeds. Well, again, welcome. Can I assume that you are a Leeds fan, or are you just hailing from Leeds? I'll just run along with, not assuming that you support Leeds, but while we're on the topic, very interesting for American fans to see Jesse Marsch come in at Leeds. His first match was the early kickoff today against Leicester. They happened to lose. I believe it was 1-0, but they put up their highest XG throughout the entire season today. I think they were in like the 2.49 XG range. So, I mean, it's pretty crazy that you can put up that statistic and not score. I know I saw just a little highlight from Rafinha that he was unlucky not to score from about 3 yards. Kasper Schmeichel doing Kasper Schmeichel things. Always a pest to come up against him. He always seems to turn it on against Liverpool. And TD5 is indeed a Leeds fan. Well, what are your thoughts? We should have one today. Schmeichel was so good. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you're reacting to what I just said, if we're thinking alike, but Schmeichel is a damn good keeper. And yeah, that's unfortunate because you want to kind of have that new manager bounce. It seems like you guys have, but just unlucky to not get even a point today. But again, I think Jesse Marsch will be very good for Leeds. I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he is a very good manager. Unfortunate that things didn't work out for him at Leipzig, but just because you fail at one club doesn't mean, it could be situational. So anyway, I'll be curious to watch him. I think, is he the second American manager in the Premier League, I want to say Bob Bradley, well, I think I know for a fact Bob Bradley was the first at Swansea. And unless I'm missing something, I think that makes Jesse Marsh number 2. I think we can beat Villa on Thursday, says TD5. Well, you're going to need some luck with that one because 4-0 was a very popular scoreline today. At one point, there were 3 games that I think had a 4-0 scoreline, and Villa was one of them over Southampton. So Stevie G's Clareton Blue squad are really coming together rather nicely. Of course, you got Coutinho and Ings really on fire. Ollie Watkins is a great player. So yeah, I mean, I wish you luck. I don't have a dog in that race. Of course, I do tend to root for Stevie G, my all-time favorite player, but you know, that doesn't. That's only when it's convenient for me. You know, when Liverpool are playing Villa. Amongst other, you know, if we need, like at the end of the season, we need Villa to lose somehow to help us in the title race, then I'll be rooting against them. Ted Lasso also managed in the Prem. Yeah. Trash show. I don't know if you're a fan, but I am not. I was intrigued in the first place, and I do love Jason Sudeikis, but it was too much fluff and not enough real comedy. I felt like it kind of ran out of steam, so I gave up on it. Hendo on the ball centrally plays it out to Mo Salah. He crosses it, trying to get himself further up the assist chart. And it's Robbo who plays it into Luis Diaz, who has a little bit of and it's Salah that drags his shot a little bit wide, but Luis Diaz there was, he took, almost broke my living room. Diaz had a little bit of a snatched first touch. It was a difficult ball that came into him, but that turned that put him in a situation of having to juggle inside the box, which was a little exciting. And then he tried to get a volley off, but that deflected and into Mo Salah's path. So West Ham have kept it at 0-0, but we would not be surprised if that were to change in the next even 5 minutes, I would say. TD5 just catching up. How long have you been watching football for? Since I was 4 years old. So my story, I haven't told it in a while, so for those who haven't heard it, I have an older brother, and I grew up basically wanting to do whatever he was doing. He took a liking towards football. He's about 5 years older than me, and so when he was playing as a young kid, we had a family friend that actually, they both were from Leeds as well, but they were Liverpool fans. They are Liverpool fans. And anyway, to speed this along, they said, if you want to be the best, you ought to learn from the best and watch the best. So they would give us, at the time, this is in the mid-90s, they would give us 8mm tapes of Match of the Day. And back then in the United States, as you guys are probably all aware, it was impossible to watch football. I mean, there was no it wasn't televised here, and if you were an expat from England and you were living here, I mean, you really could only keep up by following scores in the newspapers and whatnot. So anyway, we were really lucky to have that influence, and Neil and Dan, thank you once again for making us Liverpool fans at the young age of 4 years old, in my case. So yeah, those were the Jamie Redknapp days, Stan Collymore, even before Michael Owen, and tail end of Ian Rush's career. So yeah, I've been pretty much my whole life I've been a Liverpool fan. And he said he never watched Ted Lasso. Yeah, I I wouldn't really recommend it, but if you're intrigued what the fuss is about, go right ahead. West Ham had a little bit of a chance there, as was that, let me test my memory, I think it was Antonio that was thrown on goal, and he had a bit of a half volley from maybe 14 yards, and Allison was able to like double palm it upwards, and then he retreated a little bit because he was a little fearful that he didn't get enough on it to fully tip it over the bar, but it did go for a corner kick and nothing came of it. So Liverpool back on the ball now. You've got Trent passing it to Konate. Here's all the way back across the back four, as we now have it with Robbo. Yeah, so good, lively start by both teams. Definitely not going to be a boring one. I don't suspect. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of what you expect from Liverpool. We've obviously played some really, I mean, we're on I think it's a 7-game winning streak. Really firing on all cylinders. And so, yeah, you expect Liverpool to really play some great football and be on top of West Ham. There are the possession stats right there, 70% versus 30 in favor of the home team. You've got Keita on the ball. Liverpool kind of just getting held in this midfield area about 35 yards from goal as Trent and Fabinho and Keita are trying to progress the ball forward. They finally get it to Salah, who's in a bit of a crowd. He gets brought down. He's already starting to get frustrated because that's already maybe the second or third call that he hasn't been happy with, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, there's a sliding challenge from number 11, and he doesn't get anywhere near the ball. It's not a vicious challenge. It's sort of Salah clatters into him. And mind you, again, if you haven't seen me or know my my tendencies, I am somebody who is against this, softening of the game and everything is a foul. But, this was a sliding challenge that he didn't get near the ball, and it halted Salah's progress. So I think that would be a foul in any era. Not that anybody was asking, but that is my opinion. European Super League is coming back, and he's all tears about that. Yeah, I heard that that announcement was coming a couple days ago, but I haven't kept up with the news as much as I normally do in the last day or so. So do let me know what announcement was made. I know Barca and Madrid and Juve are typically the ones at the center of these things. They play in pretty weak leagues, and so they want to capitalize on any momentum that gets generated by these Super League talks. And I think the major difference this time, they were saying that it was not a hopefully I'm getting this right. It was not an exclusive, exclusive, like invite only type of competition, but not necessarily meaning that you have to leave your domestic league to join it. Maybe I have that wrong. In any case, I don't know. It's just all. Again, I guess we can talk about it a bit more when and if it gets more serious, but it's just silly. I mean, I'm not here to say UEFA and FIFA are not corrupt. Sure, they are, but what are you gonna do? Like, what's the best case scenario? You spin off and you form your own league, and then I think best case, what everyone would be hoping for, is to just form their own new Champions League, and not a closed door Champions League. A merit based. You have to qualify for it. There's already enough inequity in the world game due to multi-billionaires. So there's already that imbalance. Let's not make it even more so a haves and a have-nots thing. Here's Salah. surrounded by 3 West Ham players again, and he loses the ball. But Liverpool back in possession now. Here's Sadio at the top of the D, and he takes a left-footed shot, and that was always going away from goal. So Liverpool just need to maybe work the ball into the box a bit more, to use a football manager term. Some of these chances are not quite going to register high on the XG chart, shall we say. But only 20 minutes in. And anyway, I just pause for a moment to encourage some of the other viewers to chime in and let me know your thoughts on today's match so far. And also I wanted to shout out the sponsor, which is my boy J5 Getting Live. You can find him on Spotify or anywhere where you can find podcasts. And he is, here's Bravo. Okay, goes out for a corner. He is a good friend. He's a Giants, Yankees, Knicks fan, Rangers fan, and he has some great takes on those sports as a whole, and he gives out gambling tips. So if that's your thing, go right ahead. But in any case, it's great entertainment value. He's really been getting fired up the last couple weeks because of the MLB lockout and the Yankees not making any moves. And anyway, so it's all good, and go support my boy Johnny 5. Fabianski definitely held the ball for more than 6 seconds there as he decided and undecided a couple times over on what to do with the ball as he boots it long. And it is Lanzini back to Kurt Zouma, who I believe has played every single game since he kicked a cat, infamously. There was a big outcry and everybody expected him to be dropped for a little while. But he started the very next game. So, and here's Antonio with another effort, and he's really seeming to test Allison, even though he was kind of running out of a bit of space. He does get a shot away, and Allison has to dive down to his near side. That one probably would have squeaked just inside the near post. A little bit surprised that it kind of tested Allison that much. At his near post, you'd expect him to have that pretty safely covered. TD5, Kurt Zouma, the cat kicker. Yeah, exactly. And Trent gets the ball clear. He finds Salah, who tries to dribble that last stalwart in midfield. I believe it was Craig Dawson who was retreating, but he should have played the quick first-time ball outlet to continue that breakneck counterattack with Luis Diaz, who was a bit, not annoyed, but a little slightly disappointed not to have received that ball. As Salah, you can give him the benefit of the doubt when he decides to dribble that one extra man, and he fails. It's quite all right. Keita to Fabinho to Virgil. Andy Robb. Let's see. Trying to see if I jotted down any additional talking points. Yeah, so Liverpool, just rattle off some stats here to give some context to this game. Liverpool are the best home team in the league so far this season, winning 33 of a possible 39 points. That means they won 11 out of 13. Liverpool have won 6 in a row in the Premier League. I believe it's 7 or 8 if you include all competitions. Liverpool have the top 3 goal scorers in the league. Salah on 19, Jota 12, and Mane 11. We showed that stat earlier. Bowen and Antonio are tied with 8 apiece for West Ham's top scorer. Yeah, I think that's it. I have one other talking point, which I'll maybe save for later, in case we have some more input later on. Luis Diaz, well done, keeping it in the attacking third. That would be important if this were hockey, but of course it isn't. But nonetheless, Liverpool stay in the attacking third, stay in possession. I believe I think 21 players are inside West Ham's half. The only one not being Allison. Who is your favorite current Liverpool player? I mean, that's a difficult question, and it's not. I feel like I think it is Mo Salah. I mean, Virgil is right there. That would probably rival him the most. How could it not be Salah? He's just such a wonderful human being. Not to get sappy on you, but he's a truly great guy. His smile lights up a room. He just works so hard. He seems like a good, honest guy. And yeah, I mean, it's amazing to watch a player like that go from being a very good player to the world's best. Or at least in that category, in case you disagree with me. But you're lying to me if you would say that, you could have saw this coming, that, Salah in his Fiorentina days, he was at a certain level. He was just, for lack of a better term, using FIFA ratings, though I hate doing that, he was at like a 78 level, and now he's like 93. There's maybe a lot of players in between that category. There might be 200 players in the world that are very good. And then there's great, and then there's, world class and yada yada. But when you come to like Ballon d'Or caliber players, there can only ever be about 5 in the world, and he's certainly one of those players. Virgil too. I was probably the most pissed off person in the world when he did not win the Ballon d'Or in was that 18-19, our Champions League season. I mean, he wasn't dribbled past the entire season. That is hands down the greatest season that any defender has ever registered. I won't hear otherwise. But yeah, I just don't know how you can top that. I mean, he's the Rolls Royce defender. That's the best way of describing him. He makes everything look so easy. I was watching some clips of Bob Ross last night. Yes, I'm about to compare Virgil van Dijk to Bob Ross, but they both just make it look so easy. And there's the opening goal. Is it for Sadio Mane? Was he offside? I hope not. But there we go. Let's count it for now, as it's Sadio who breaks the deadlock, as it's Keita who swings it over to Trent. Trent puts a ball in. Not sure if he was trying for an effort on goal. Sadio seems to be onside. If they were to bring this back, it would be by a hair. Here they're freezing it. The line isn't perfect, but I'm not going to talk about VAR, because if I want to clip this, I don't need to be talking about VAR. The ball goes through the middle, and it's just one of those Trent balls that just puts it in such the danger zone, finds this extra little lane where the defender can't get it. It's too far for the goalkeeper, and Sadio has the easiest job of just bundling it into the goal. And there it is. I think they're going to keep this goal. It's Sadio Mane who opens the scoring for Liverpool, and it is 1-0. Let's see if we can get a little Sadio graphic going. Where are my GIFs? I'm losing my momentum here. Nobody cares anymore. Mane. There it is. There it is. All right, back into my position. Salah is the best player in the world right now. TD5, thank you. I appreciate that. Easy finish for Mane. Yep, when you have some service like that from Trent, it's just a beautiful thing. Now, again, TD5, I want to see where you stand on this. I try to steer clear, as I haven't made this clear already, I try to be unbiased, and I try to steer clear of sensationalist opinions or questions or, clickbait type stuff. But where do you land on Trent being the best right back in Premier League history. I almost would never allow a question like this. I mean, he's 23 years old. You have to see how his career plays out. But the way that he's revolutionized the position, and listen, I'm not even saying I agree or disagree. I do think it's a valid question, simply because he's revolutionized the position, and he's been leading the league in assists for the last 3 years, which, do some quick homework and check for me the last time that an outside back has really come even close to registering on the top of the assist chart. Now, granted, I get it. In England, assists, keeping assist statistics, I know that's pretty new. We have that more regular. Why can't I speak? It's more of a normal stat in basketball and like hockey. But in any case, I mean, just the chance creation that he is able to generate, as well as Robbo, but I think Trent is significantly ahead of him. So yeah, I'd be curious to see if people think I'm crazy for even asking that question. Do you agree? If you disagree, who is the best Premier League right back ever? I think Neville typically gets thrown in that conversation. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue when you throw these Man United players in. Oh, here's Luis Diaz, who was just darting forward through the entire field. He dribbled probably 3 or 4 players. You very rarely see this, just blistered past everybody. You had some defenders that were in front of him, and not even dribbling them, but basically just gliding right past them. And anyway, he did have Mo Salah that he could have slipped through, but he decided to take on one extra man. He was brought down right on the edge of the area. Kurt Zuma gets a yellow for that. And this will also be Trent territory, I believe. I do not think Trent is the best right back in Premier League history, but is the best right back in the current Premier League. Going forward is insane. I think he needs work defensively. Yeah, I can't say, what are you talking about? I do think that people do tend to jump on Trent defensively. I think, again, it is a Twitter world. Everything's black and white. I do think Trent is pretty decent defensively. I mean, he's not, Marcos Alonso. He's not Roberto Carlos. He is a defender. He could use some work, as you put it. I think maybe that's fair. He could use some work defensively, but I think it's unfair when people just jump on him. Oh, and here's Trent. Oh! He did a little stop-start, one of those indirect free kick routines where he tapped it to Salah. Salah stopped it for him, and he just floated it towards the back post. Wow, that was quite close. As he curled that effort towards the top corner. Fabianski took a very medial position for that free kick, as it was so close. And so Trent tried to take advantage of that. Yeah, look at that. Craig Dawson nowhere near being able to keep pace with Luis Diaz. So well done to the Colombian, who has had a red-hot start in his Liverpool career. Love to see it. So yeah, that would just be my point, is I think Trent actually is pretty decent defensively. I do think people just jump on him because it is an easy target. He's so good attacking wise. And I'll be fair too. He can be inconsistent at times. When he's having a bad game, he really is pretty bad. Like his accuracy can really go up and down. I mean, for the most part, he's David Beckham. He can put balls on a dime, and he's incredible. But when he's having bad games, I do think that it kind of goes to his head a bit, and I think he struggles with that sometimes. So I'm just saying that for honesty, in attacking wise. But yeah, I think I would make him the best right back of all time. Maybe people will think I'm biased or crazy, but I think it's definitely a question worth asking. Yeah, of course he's insane. Yeah, so I don't know. You know, he's probably TD5 is probably agreeing with me at some point, uh, discussing Trent's attacking abilities. And here is Trent thwacking it across to the left side, finding Mo Salah on the vertical edge of the left side of the box, if that makes any sense. As Mo Salah, as ridiculous as that ball was from Trent, Mo Salah, even more ridiculously, tries to left foot volley it as a cross back centrally, and he didn't really quite get the connection. It also was sort of blocked as it was headed towards the ground. But good stuff from Liverpool here. I would give us about an 8.5 out of 10 in terms of our starts. So I'm just going to throw up a Snapchat so we can find some more friends and fam on the channel. Whoop. Jump down this way. Here's Luis Diaz in the box. And I think that's Souček that is able to poke it clear as Fabianski grabs that one. Alright. There we go. One-man show here, so apologies for taking this little break. TD5, you've been great so far. I love the interaction. Really appreciate you joining the Watchalong. I hope you'll subscribe on all the different spots. Usually I have the all the accounts down where the Johnny 5 ad is, but I am on Twitter at Beaty's Beat, BEATYSBEAT. And yeah, please subscribe. The main place is YouTube, where I do these watch-alongs. Oh, Trent plays a ball back for Luis Diaz. Oh, and it's cleared off the line by Cresswell and bicycle kicked out by Souček. That was a little scurry in front of goal, I believe is what you call that. Thanks, no problem, says TD5. Yeah, it's a pleasure. Happy to make a friend, albeit an ocean away. Sadio Mane plays Robbo through, and Robbo plays a ball centrally that I think most fifth graders could probably do better than. Alright, set that down. There's Cresswell. Cresswell, who's wearing an armband supporting the Ukrainian resistance. Very nice. I will follow you. Thank you. TD5. Now maybe some questions for you, TD. Well, I guess the first question is, should I be calling you anything other than TD5? What do you prefer to go by? And then secondly, who is your favorite Leeds player? Here is Fornals, who looks to be way offside, and it is Trent who clears it off the line with his own bicycle kick. I think they're going to call this back for offside. They must. Oh, and here is another clearance that's needed off the line. Trent is furious, as they say. Let me try that again on the Redmen TV. Steve and Errol love to say furious. And Fornals was onside by probably Konate and Virgil, if not Trent on the far side. Trent was absolutely furious, but I mean, Trent bailed himself out, and it looks like that is going to be a corner for West Ham. That came very close to being an equalizer. I mean, we played this game as a fan where you think that, oh, this is going to be brought back as offside, because you see that so often, and that's really starting to irk a lot of people out there. why not just um, why not just call it um, right away? But anyway, you tend to not like take these passages of play seriously, and then you know it turns out that there was no offside, and they came very close to equalizing here, and then the game changes dramatically. Granted, we still have more than a full half of football to be played. My actual name is Thomas. Cheers. And yeah, I think my question was your favorite current Leeds player and your all-time Leeds player as well. Again, I think you let me have it. Oh, okay. So your favorite current player is Calvin Phillips, great player. I thought he was excellent for England over the summer, and by people I mean so many clubs are really interested in him. He seems like a loyal guy, so I don't really know that he'd be moving anytime soon. But yeah, no, I'm a fan of his. I was gonna what I was gearing myself up to say was I think you understood my answer as far as Salah and Virgil. Again, I think that they're tied, but yeah, sometimes it's like, oh, are you just gonna say like the best player, or who truly is your favorite player? And so my guess was going to be, I think probably the consensus of Leeds' best player currently is Rafinha. So I was curious to see if that would be your answer. I mean, he's a really exciting player. Again, as I've said, the best player doesn't always mean he's going to be your favorite. But yeah, I hope Leeds get out of the conundrum that they find themselves in. I think they will. I think that there's enough of a culture there. Granted, it's only been 2 seasons back into the Premier League, but I mean, Bielsa just built so much there that that's their style of play, and I think, I mean, I don't know. It's very easy to equate like, Bielsa had high energy football and so does Marsh. That doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be the same style of play, but I guess my point is that I don't think that Marsh is going to turn the world upside down. I think that he'll probably be smart to, at least in the short term, use their advantages, and the players that fit like a glove, he'll utilize them in their best position and whatnot. So I think that they'll have enough to save themselves. Here's Antonio's slip through. He's going to have another thwack at goal, but he misses to the near post. Also, how long is Bamford out for? I haven't seen or heard his name in a while. I think he did have a long-term injury, but I haven't really been tracking his situation. Best player is Rafinha, says Thomas, but my favorite player is Phillips, as he is Leeds through and through, and Rafinha will leave this summer, and he doesn't seem to be really bothered anymore. Yeah, I have seen, he does seem like he could be one of those players that is just really motivated by himself, and I'm not even saying that's necessarily a negative thing. I think a lot of British people do equate that to being a bad thing, but and I understand that, because you always want a player that's going to play for the team, but just because a player is selfish doesn't make him a bad person. And so anyway, yeah, I think Rafinha is going to leave this summer. There's a lot of links with Liverpool and Rafinha. I think a lot of Liverpool's linked with a lot of people. I actually keep a digital note in the build-up to each transfer window, all of the players that get linked for that 4 to 6 months or whatever it is, just for the fun of it. Just because some names come and go and you kind of forget. So anyway, that's a fun little activity I have for myself. But anyway, what I was getting at was, I think a lot of those, attacking players, those rumors will calm down quite a bit since we signed Luis Diaz. So I would kind of doubt that Rafinha would still be on Liverpool's radar, but at least you know that Liverpool are fans of him, and I think Rafinha can be linked to a lot of different places. Obviously, he has had a good start to his Brazil career as well, so that will bode well for him. But yeah, I think he's a player that can succeed in a lot of different leagues. So yeah, we shall see who comes up with the money for him. As we have seconds left in the first half, let's see if we have any stoppage time. +1. Brought to you by Hublot. Also brought to you by Progressive, apparently. Johnson runs out of room down the right-hand side as Robbo gives a legal enough shove to him and forces him out for the corner. So yeah, I will be taking a quick halftime break. Once the whistle goes, don't go anywhere, and I will be back in time for the second half as I will hydrate. Liverpool will win 2-0, says Thomas. All right, I'll take that. I'd even prefer a more comfortable cushion, but maybe that's a luxurious, an opinion of luxury. I'm speaking to a Leeds fan who might take any sort of squeak to win. But yeah, I think good first half performance by Liverpool. I'll come back maybe with some XG stats. And as I said, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back, and I hope you'll join me. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Sorry, I am back. What's going on with my scoreboard? What's happening here? Whoops. What happened? What changed from... Oh boy. Alright, well, we are into the second half. I'll have to fix my scoreboard, unfortunately. There we go. Strange. Oh, that's why. That's why. It was merely a hotkey situation. Anyway, happy to have you guys back with me for the second half. Here is Jared Bowen, who is racing down on another counterattack move by West Ham. And it was Antonio who was really at the center of everything that West Ham were doing. It's kind of nice to say that in the past two matches for Liverpool, being between today against West Ham and against Chelsea, it was really just one player that was causing all the trouble for either team. Today, through Antonio, and against Chelsea, it was Mason Mount that was kind of doing everything. But in any case, I was listening to the Redmen speak over the halftime break, and they were saying that you really got to give a lot of credit to the center backs today, because not many players put Antonio off, though I just said he was at the center of everything West Ham was doing. There was a lot of pressure on him and throwing him off balance, and he was taking a lot of shots from range. So definitely credit to Van Dijk and Konate, because again, against other teams, I think Antonio is able to muscle his way into some better chances, and maybe even having some better confidence on some of the chances that he does get. So yeah, credit the center backs. And then also I was thinking, the men of the match so far, again, obviously there's a whole lot still to play, and hopefully Liverpool will extend their lead as they're trying to do now with Robbo playing the ball. And here's Trent with a half volley from about 30 yards. He is my man of the match so far. He's the one that played that ball in for Sadio to easily finish. And he also cleared the ball off the line for West Ham's biggest chance. So he's really been key for Liverpool today. And we thank him for his brilliant performance thus far. Very nice. Thomas Scott takeaway, which in the United States we would call delivery. So he's got some food to enjoy during the match. As Jared Bowen receives some treatment, you've got two trainers on the pitch, and they are rocking the Umbros, which is nice to see. You kind of forget that Umbro still exists, at least in America, you do. Umbro is such a nice, classic brand. So weird. Umbro, I believe, is still owned by Nike. And the same with Adidas and Reebok. And so for a while, and I don't think Reebok exists anymore. And for a while, Nike was doing the same to Umbro, kind of doing away with them as a whole. But then, I want to say a good 4 or 5 years ago, they brought Umbro back from under their rock. And for certain, I don't know, I guess maybe just clubs that want that sort of classic look between West Ham and I believe Everton are Umbro clubs. But in any case, such a beautiful logo, and they have that just aesthetic of nostalgia, basically. Eating chicken, pepperoni, sausage, parmesan, and chips. Chips being French fries for you. Yes, thank you for the translation. I picked up on that, but most Americans probably wouldn't. Here is Benrahma getting ready, as Bowen is not going to be able to continue. He has his arms around the shoulders of the West Ham trainers as he is hobbling off. That is unfortunate for the gentleman. I was going to say the young Englishman. I think he is, but I'm also assuming that he could be Scottish or Northern Irish or anything in the United Kingdom. But I think he's English. Anyway, Benrahma looking an awful lot like Luis Suarez today, as he's got the socks pulled up over the knees. He's about to get substituted on, and they are really taking their time. I mean, I don't think it's a time-killing situation, but this is, I get that he's hurt, but, you know, typically, and Klopp gives him a little pat on the back of the head. Cue the transfer rumors once again, as Liverpool are allegedly big fans of Jared Bowen. Thomas says, I'm working to be a translator. I speak Spanish. I wanted to be Bielsa's translator, LOL. Yeah, I mean that would be a lovely job for you. You could both practice that as well as be a buddy to somebody that you have a whole lot of fondness for. It is sad. I think everybody has fondness for Bielsa. It just, I don't think it went on for he wasn't grasping on, as sometimes you see. I mean, I'm a Mourinho hater, and so I think Mourinho just stays as long as he possibly can, even though the jig is up. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would be another fine example of that, where he should have left the job long before he did. But in any case, yeah, I mean, Bielsa obviously is a Leeds legend, and it just, sometimes those things happen. It's unfortunate when they do. It even happened to Klopp at Dortmund. Sometimes you just lose that mustard that you have, that magic way with words, or things just go stale, and so it's unfortunate when that happens. But it does tend to happen a bit more frequently to the I say that, but I don't actually know for sure. It happens. I was going to say it happens a bit more frequently to the intense guys. I mean, usually they say that, Pep, although that's probably unfair, because I can't even remember what club that would have even happened at. I mean, he left Barcelona prematurely. At Bayern, he did good, but not great. But in any case, Conte, I think, is a good example. He's such an intense guy. It's just like, your players have to hate this guy after a year. It's just of getting barked at. So anyway, yeah, it's just a shame, and hopefully Bielsa will continue coaching. And he tends to make the fans of whatever club he's at pretty happy. So, he's certainly one of a kind. The whole Spygate thing was just hilarious. Solak is a little back heel down the line to Hendo. Hendo on the right-hand side plays it to Fabinho. They kind of going in opposite paths. but Fabinho able to retain possession. Here's Virgil, who plays it out to his left-hand side to find Diaz. Liverpool fans very happy with Diaz on Twitter, as I checked quickly during the halftime break. Yes. Oh, and here's a ball in. Oh, it just evades Diaz a bit, and Fabianski is able to chase it down. First real spark of attacking play from Liverpool in this second half so far. We're 10 minutes in. Thomas says, yeah, some people are like, why are Leeds fans so sad about Bielsa leaving? It's because of what he's done for us. Yes, of course. I mean, no offense, but you kind of have to be an idiot to even ask that question. You have to be sad. I mean, Leeds have been trying to get promoted for almost 20 years. Sorry, Thomas, if that's too much of a rounding up for your liking, but yeah, what is it, 17, 18 years. And so, good for Leeds. And like I said in the first half, which I won't repeat myself, but I think Leeds have enough to stay up. And, hopefully Jesse Marsch will have some fresh ideas to shake things up and keep Leeds in the Premier League. I mean, there's quite a few bad teams in the league this... Naby Keita takes an effort from about 30 yards, and that heads wide. But yeah, I mean, the amount of teams that I would like to see go down ahead of Leeds would go something like the following: Norwich, Watford, Burnley. Those are probably them right there. I like Newcastle. I think that sometimes they're a dumpster fire, but and yeah, I mean, surely now with the money and everything, I think they'll be doing just fine, as most people expected following the January window. Even though they only brought in, what was it, 2 players? They brought in Trippier. That was a big signing, although he went down, he got hurt, and I don't know what his current status is. And then they brought in Chris Wood, of course. Oh, they brought in, was it, am I confusing? Lewis Dunk, I think they brought in. Here's Trent, who kind of, he cuts it back. And drops it. That was looking a little bit more promising than it actually ended up being. Here it was over to the left side. They crossed it over from Robbo to Trent. You love to see that from one wing back to another. Yeah, Thomas says, please don't remind me those 16 years. OMG. He didn't say OMG. I said that. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, that's got to be brutal. I obviously don't know what that's like. Liverpool definitely had some tough times, but of course they were still always, in the Premier League. I don't think in my lifetime Liverpool's ever had a league finish maybe under 8th place, in and around there. So we haven't even had a bottom half finish. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think, I mean, of course, the Premier League is the most competitive league. I think, for the last probably 15 years, they have been. The league has been, even though you probably would say at times during that reign, if you call it that, that Barcelona and Real Madrid were better, and Bayern Munich in terms of like the best leagues in the world. But even during that time, it's always just those 1 or 2 teams, and that doesn't make for such a great league. Anyway, my point is that the Premier League always has been the best product, the best league in the world, and I think it's easier to say that even more so with the TV money that has really come on leaps and bounds in the last probably 3 years. So it's natural to understand what I'm about to say. But yeah, I mean, I think some of those teams that are doing a really nice job, but don't get all the headlines, because the headlines are always about the title race and the relegation race. But Crystal Palace is doing a fantastic job. Patrick Vieira, I didn't think that he was going to be necessarily a good appointment, but he's been terrific. I'll have to glance at the league table, but in my mind, they're in about 8th place. And they beat Wolves earlier today, which, beating Wolves isn't like the biggest deal in the world, but I just kind of did like a mental check-in with myself saying like, oh, okay, yeah, I expect Palace to beat Wolves this season. Whereas last season I would think, okay, Wolves are, they're two mid-table sides, but who do you expect to win out of those two teams? Obviously Wolves had their Jorge Mendes fun time in the sun, and that seems to be winding to a close. But anyway, yeah, just the fact that Crystal Palace is now sort of expected to beat Wolves, and they've sort of swapped positions. Like one team was 12th and one team was 8th, and now the 12 has become the 8, and vice versa. So, credit to Patrick Vieira and credit to Palace for appointing him, because I think that that's a really good example of taking a big risk where owners don't like to take risks. They like to go with like the sure thing. I think, again, nobody asked this debate-like question, but like, what's a more risky appointment? Jurgen Klopp, who has had unbelievable success at Liverpool, or Patrick Vieira at Palace? I think Vieira at Palace, because he came in from, I think it was Nice, Trent getting in a tussle with Benrahma, who was appealing for a foul, but that was just some physical play and maybe some words exchanged, nothing more. But Dan Burn, Newcastle bought, not Dunk. Yes, thank you. I had a feeling I had that wrong. I did have. Wait, he was Brighton as well, wasn't he? Am I getting this completely wrong? It's actually, speaking of Brighton, I was thinking that I'm bouncing all around here, but stick with me. West Ham, you got to give them credit. Liverpool are going to need an extra goal here, because West Ham are definitely on the bottom of these two in this game. Oh, and it's Luis Diaz who almost snuck that in the far post. Nice effort there. He's doing all the right things. Just needs to find that final great touch or finish to get the goal. But that was nice. That was probably a yard or two wide, but nice effort. Takes his man on, cuts Johnson in against the grain, and tries to curl that back post. Bam. Look at Diaz just looking all... He looks like he's been playing for Liverpool for about 12 months. Now, with that said, he needs to straighten some things out, but he's looking so great. And, if Mane did that very same move, you would, if you carved out the silhouette of the player making that type of move and trying to score, he just fits right in. But anyway, I'm losing myself with all my thoughts, so let me just reset here. Yes, thank you for saying it was Dan Byrne. I was wrong, and he said, loving the stream, man. Thumbs up. Yeah, Byrne played for Brighton before Newcastle. Okay, good. So I did remember that correctly. That's awesome, man. I'm so glad that you're enjoying the stream. I'm loving having you on the stream. You're active in the comments, and that's exactly what I want. I want interaction during the game. The point of this is not really for me to commentate, although I will obviously give updates watching the game, but it's really more so of like a simultaneous or mutual watching experience. That's the type of thing. As if all of my followers would be right here in my living room with me. So anyway, that's great. I'm really glad that you're liking the stream, and I hope you'll tune in regularly. I was just giving a tip of the hat to West Ham for, they're on the bottom of the play in this game, but you would be lying to yourself or kidding yourself as a Liverpool fan if you thought that this was all wrapped up. I was going to compare. West Ham is playing us very similarly to Brighton, who, there's another team that I know everybody loves to love, Brighton, with Graham Potter. Oh, and it's Salah who gets a chance on the top of the box. He plays a little 1-2 pitter-patter with Hendo, and he gets a shot on goal, but it is right down the gut of Fabianski. And who was that goalkeeper that let it right through his legs for us? That Sheffield. Was it Ramsdale that season, the season that we had like 36 straight wins or 30 straight wins. Oh, and here's Salah, who has another effort at the top of the D, and is he playing more centrally, or maybe just making these runs into these more central spaces as he's on the top of the D, and that again is not in the corner enough, but he'll keep shooting, and you know what that means. Watch out, West Ham. TD5 says, I'll be on the next one. Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I try to do it every week, but, this is not a career for me, so unfortunately I'm not on every week, but the best way to know is subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then also I have 2 Twitter accounts actually. The first is at Beaty's Beat. That's that gets a little noisy because that's my personal account as well. But it's mostly football opinions. But I have in particular, there's an at Beaty's Beat Watch that is sort of like my scheduler Twitter, where I'll pin the next stream. So that way you'll always know when the next stream is. But yes, thank you. Liverpool Lee in the chat. Diaz is who I thought Mark Gonzalez was going to be. Wow, you can't say that. Comment with a straight face, or without a laugh, I was going to say. That is too funny. Yeah, I mean, we all wanted Mark Gonzalez, and that was that was like I don't know, for whatever reason, that's reoccurring to me as like this girl that you're really trying to pursue at the bar, and you're like telling your friend that, oh, she likes me, we're gonna go out on a date, and then she doesn't even look at you, and then your friends are like, what are you even talking about? The reason I'm saying all this is because he was a long purported signing, the Chilean. I forget who we even signed him from, but we were having great difficulty in obtaining a work permit. So once he finally came, there was all this build up, and he really didn't do anything for Liverpool in his career. So yeah, Liverpool Lee, I hope you're enjoying your drive. Lee was hoping to join the stream for oh, and it's played it through for Lanzini. He's at the top of the box and he misses. Wow, that certainly should have been the equalizer that I was warning Liverpool fans to be wary of, and he just got way too in his head there. Here's another West Ham chance. I think Liverpool have been good defensively, but that is not the first time where an onside player has just gotten yards of space as Trent is doing his absolute best to backtrack and put a challenge in on Lanzini. It was a pretty unsuccessful looking challenge, but he at least succeeded in delaying Lanzini perhaps a touch or an effort on goal as the ball is bouncing, and he goes to side foot it. Trent's tackle went right across Lanzini, didn't touch him or the ball, and Noble fouls Mane about 40 yards from Liverpool's goal, and then takes an effort on goal, chips Alisson, although it was pretty clear that a foul had already occurred. But anyway, Lanzini really muffed that chance for West Ham. That absolutely should have been the equalizing goal. Pretending I know how to score XG for a second, I would say that was like a 0.8 of a chance. I mean, he's at the top of the sixth with no defenders and just a goalkeeper, and he put it over. Maybe the bounce wasn't super kind to him, but it's no excuse. He had to score that goal. Thomas thinks that the second half has been pretty boring. Yeah, I'll give you that. Oh, Sadio has a turn towards the top of the box from Keita's ball in, and his shot is blocked. Lanzini wins the ball and pings it forward towards Benrahma, who is joined also by Antonio, but Liverpool is able to get at least 6 bodies behind the ball by now. Yeah, Liverpool leads. His drive is going well, for those of you who were curious, so that is nice. He is headed to see some family members. He was hoping to join the stream today, but something came up. All is well. All is well with Lee, don't worry. But he'll be on another one soon. Yeah, and for anyone, any regulars out there that, I'm not sure if there are any regulars watching currently, aside from our new regular Thomas, but for any regulars, let us know what kind of content is most enjoyable, or any ideas that you have for us. I mean, it's almost entirely all watch-alongs, which I enjoy doing, and I just love when a crazy moment happens and I happen to, because I'm streaming, you happen to preserve that moment for the rest of your life, because obviously you're recording. So that's just been really cool. And yeah, just as I said, the conversation, but aside from the watch-alongs, we did like sort of a video podcast style thing in the summer when not much was going on. So let us know if you would be a fan of those. We could do like trivia videos, play some games, something like that. But yeah, I've kind of been thinking from time to time of doing some more maybe video and or audio podcasts, if that's easier to digest. I know I'm a big podcast person, so maybe that's an easier style of content to ingest, digest, consume. Lots of digestive verbs that I'm using here, but yeah, I mean, I did like an FSG in little check-in video about 10 days ago, because I felt that FSG were deserving of some praise, even though a lot of people love to hashtag FSG out whenever it suits them. But so yeah, and I also too, I have a website which has been quite dormant, but I have that for when I like to write articles. I like to put my thoughts down on the page sometimes. That's a good some good brain activity for myself to both, put down my thoughts on a page and sort of archive that, but also just to keep like the mind sharp sort of thing. But I have not done that in a long while, but perhaps doing like an audio podcast would be a bit of a similar exercise. Thomas asking, do I think Pulisic is the LeBron James of soccer? No, I do not, but I do know what you're referencing, so that is very funny. I believe that was a Pawn Stars video where, Luis Diaz has an attempt at the top of the box. It seems like all of Liverpool's chances are coming from that probably 15-yard space right at the top of the 18, and he fizzed that one over the bar. Probably not. Oh yeah, that was pretty close actually. It was a little bit wide and maybe an inch high. But yeah, as Thomas was saying, Pulisic was compared to LeBron James by the Pawn Stars simply because he was the best American player. And I think that probably was deemed as even more hilarious in Europe rather than, probably nobody even saw it in Europe, because probably a lot of Americans don't even know who Pulisic is, because believe it or not, there's still not a huge groundswell of Americans watching the Premier League, but yeah, I mean, obviously, Pulisic is not even close to being the best player in the world. Although he's a fine player, I'm a supporter of his. Even though he can range anywhere from Chelsea's best player to their fifth favorite attacker, but that's just how Chelsea run their football club. Yeah, Thomas is confirming that it was Pawn Stars. Here is Hendo down the right sideline. He plays a peculiar ball all the way back to Virgil, who brings it down. 14 minutes left to play. I'm afraid I have to sort of agree with Thomas at this point that this has been a pretty boring half, but as long as Liverpool close it out, I will be happy. Number 20, Diogo Jota, will be coming onto the pitch shortly as Bravo has the ball on the left-hand side. Fabinho, nice idea, but just couldn't slip it through to Bravo as Keita and Fornals both go for a headed ball. Fornals plays a hopeful ball down the right side for Antonio to chase, but surprise, surprise, it is Virgil van Dijk who wins the ball. Give a little bit of love to Virgil here. Let's see. Virgil. Beast. Monster. So yeah, I meant to mention the XG that I found over the halftime break. Here's Diaz who finds Salah. Oh, it's almost always a goal in that position. Salah, I think, has just had one of those frustrating days where whether it's the ref or, these are my words, not his. Of course, he wouldn't blame the ref for taking a bad touch. But he just had one of those frustrating days where it went right into his path. A really nice ball from Diaz, and Salah can't control it on top of the six. He just needed a one touch to put it on goal. And typically, if Salah shoots towards goal, it just goes in because goalkeepers are afraid of him, basically. But Mo Salah is going to be substituted, and it is Jota that will come on. So yeah, fine performance by Salah, but he won't be happy with it for sure. Thomas, to be honest, we might sign Pulisic in a year or two because of Jesse Marsh and the American takeover. Okay. I wasn't aware of Leeds being owned by Americans. Are they currently, or they're about to be? Either way, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's not a bad shot. I mean, that just kind of depends upon the trajectory of his career. Oh, nice outside the foot ball by Trent. And it was headed for the greatest header of the ball in the world right now. Although it's been a few games since he's got one, is Jota. But here are West Ham coming through, and it's Antonio who cuts in, and it is Robbo who is able to, again, put the attacker off just before he's about to shoot. And it wasn't a completely great challenge. Again, Liverpool complaining about offside, but he is onside there. And Robbo had to do, that's some great defending by Robbo. Again, he didn't completely take it away from Antonio, but slowed him down enough until Keita was able to completely backtrack and block it. It goes out for a corner. But yeah, as I was saying, Robbo had to take up a really strategic position because on the left-hand side, I think it was Benrahma or maybe Fornals that Antonio had for company, so it was kind of one of those 2v1 situations, and Robbo dealt with it very nicely. Liverpool are rid of the danger thus far. Goal kick to Liverpool. Oh, okay, so Thomas says that the 49ers are fully investing in the summer. Okay, that's interesting. I hadn't heard that. So yeah, as I was saying, I mean, it just obviously depends on if Pulisic going to be available, because if he isn't and Chelsea really want to keep hold of him because they value him, then I mean it's going to be, his price tag will be more than Leeds would be able to, or most clubs really are willing or able to afford, because you think about it, and again I get that the market has changed, it's kind of gone down and maybe back up since Pulisic signed for Chelsea, but yeah, I mean they bought him for like £60 million, so again, unless he only has like a year left on his contract or some situation I'm not aware of, then but yeah, I mean that would be a cool situation if Pulisic were able to pop up at Leeds. It would be interesting. I mean, again, I would take him at Liverpool, even in present day. I think he's a solid player. He can be streaky, but yeah, I just, again, for reasons I just mentioned in terms of what he would cost, I really just don't see it happening for Liverpool, but things always change. Allison has yet to have a scary moment, but there it is, right down the middle of the field. He plays it to Lanzini. Liverpool do have 3 players back, but that was a gift from Allison. Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but as a Liverpool fan, you always tend to expect an oopsie from Allison once a game, which I'm fine with. You know, other people might be more critical of Allison, but listen, when you're brilliant, when you're as brilliant as Allison is, then you get some passes. Konate fouls Antonio, at least so thinks the ref, about 30 yards, or no, probably 40 yards from goal. I don't know, Antonio went down, and it looked like it could have been a foul, and then it looked like Antonio did another sort of second stage fall to ensure that, hey, I just got fouled, sort of thing. But Mark Noble plays a ball in, and that is just floating through the air as Allison is able to come collect pretty easily. West Ham, very impressive, says Liverpool fan Lee. Yeah, again, I would tend to sort of agree more so with our friend Thomas, aka TD5, that this half has been pretty boring. I mean, yeah, West Ham has still maintained having some pressure on us, but I actually think that they were more impressive in the first half. Yeah, I think, and West Ham may have even had more of the ball this half. I just think that I would give more credit to a team for having less of the ball and being like a bit more incisive. Almost like, hey, we're going to sit back. And I'm not saying park the bus. I hate watching teams park the bus. But West Ham, as I compared them to Brighton, are both teams that can soak up pressure and then somehow create just as many chances or good opportunities, almost as Liverpool, having such less of the ball. Yeah, because over halftime, you check the stats, Liverpool had 10 shots, only 2 of them were on target. West Ham actually had 10 shots and 5 were on target. So a pretty impressive performance from West Ham, whatever way you look at it. But we shall see if they have anything more to say about the end result of this match. Mark Noble playing left back for the moment. On the ball, Kurt Zouma. I heard that Cats Lives Matter was a airplane banner that was flown above Anfield I doubt very much that Kurt Zuma would have seen that, but nonetheless, I'm guessing fans had an enjoyable chuckle over that. Benrahma plays a floated through ball up the middle of the pitch, but it is easily received by Allison as Jimmy Milner should be coming on shortly. 71% possession for Liverpool throughout the course of this game. Wonder who Milner will be coming on for. My guess would actually be Hendo, but maybe it's Keita. I just think that Hendo has maybe slowed down a little bit, although he has had a pretty decent impact on the game. Luis Diaz just slipped on his own, but got up very quickly. He's on the ball, plays a 1-2 with Keita. He's coming from left to right. Another 1-2 with Hendo, and now he's advanced the ball towards the top of the D. He lays it off to Jota, who plays it out wide to Robbo. Ooh, and he loses the ball. He kind of fell on his own as well. Antonio plays the ball forward to Benrahma, who cuts into his right foot as he was sort of telegraphing. And the ball goes out for a corner kick. All right, Thomas giving us an update on his personal life. He is full now after that delivery order, or as he puts it, takeaway, and he needs some water. Go for it. Hydrate. Liverpool have 2.5 minutes plus stoppages to hang on to their slender 1-0 lead. I will be distraught if we drop any points. Should this result hold, we will be 3 points behind City. Robbo heads it clear from the front post, but not enough of a clearance. The ball gets swung back in. Allison comes and punches 25 yards from his goal. It's Diaz who brings it down. Jota picks it up, plays it to Sadio. Back out to Jota, who, he has a really nice idea that had the identity of a Liverpool counterattack, almost another famous one, but West Ham was able to block the cross. Here's another cross from Trent. That is blocked by Dawson, and Fornals is fouled and decides to roll around on the ground, getting a yellow for Jota, which he probably deserved, rolling around or not, by Fornals. Thomas says, for once I hope Man United, win tomorrow, as I don't want Man City to win the league. They pay the refs. I hope Liverpool win it. I don't mind Liverpool. That's something I think we can all agree on, despite rallying around United for tomorrow. Yeah, I surely hope. I think tomorrow's one of those games where you, as a Liverpool fan, you hope that Everton can beat City, or you hope that Tottenham can beat them, or United. Actually, Tottenham did beat them, but anyway, my point is that once you put your pinned hopes on a match, then they come up very short. So I think that's going to be one of those matches, but as they say, the form book goes out the window in a derby, so we shall see. I'll be watching that one. Not streaming, I won't be streaming tomorrow, but that should be an intriguing game. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be, I saw somebody tweet out Micah Richards, or is it Micah Richards' column, that really you have to cherish these two teams, in City and Liverpool. Whatever you feel about them, these are two of the greatest teams that the league has ever seen, and I think a lot of people know that. But I think sometimes with banter, you have a bias and you hate Liverpool or you hate City or whatever, and that's fine. Football is about emotion and tribalism. However, these two are truly, I think, the two best teams ever in the Premier League since 2018. Oh, and it's got to be a handball on Zuma from Mane. It was point blank, but Mane had an effort on goal, and Zuma's arm was down, ball to hand. Yeah, I mean, maybe it would have been harsh, but it did change the trajectory of the ball quite a bit. So, I don't know, there are always judgment calls, but okay, fair enough, Tom. As I was saying it, I had a hunch that was going to be the case. That he doesn't, Thomas doesn't call Manchester United as, sorry, but secret's out, most of the world does. He only calls Leeds United. And that is completely understandable because they are pretty stern rivals to each other. So if I say United, I'm referring to Leeds, not Manchester. Yeah, I get it. Perhaps that's just my Americanism coming, not even Americanism, but really just the time that I've been alive, that Leeds, for more often than not, has not been in the Premier League. So maybe I'm just not used to thinking of Leeds as United, but you're right. 2.5 minutes left in this match. But anyway, just to finish that thought in case I didn't, since 2018, I believe City have picked up 331 points and Liverpool have picked up 325, which is the exact deficit coming into this match, that 6 points, meaning that Liverpool are trailing City on. So that means if you take this season out, or if you were to assume that Liverpool catch City, for the past, 4 years, Liverpool and City have an identical, maybe not an identical record, but identical points total. That is just absolutely incredible. I mean, you can't script it any better than that. And they're great rivals. They play, they both play an appealing, attacking way. And they both press a lot, but they go about it differently. There's a whole lot of, culture of the club differences and whatnot. And, it is a great rivalry. I do hate City. It's kind of, taken a couple of years to get to that point. But yeah, I mean, they're just unbelievable rivals. And again, the fact that they've been that close, even though sometimes, the deficit in the season that Liverpool won the league was huge, but that also tells you that Liverpool have been greatly behind City. I believe that would have been last year, like the COVID year. But the fact that those have just averaged out and pretty much equal points is incredible. Here comes Liverpool with 20 seconds left to play. It's the front three leading a counterattack. And it's Jota, Mane, and Diaz, who I think are going to need a bit more time on the training pitch together to kind of blend, because they just got to get their runs right and whatnot. But here is Curtis Jones, who is going to take us basically up to the full-time whistle. Last couple comments from Thomas, or one. I know most people call Man United, but us Leeds fans know we are united. Only know we are united. Yeah, I get it. And I know you hate Man United, but that's another thing that can possibly bond us together. Here's Luis Diaz, who is making way. I was just going to throw up a little, just for the hell of it, Curtis action, pulling on that badge, as Liverpool are going to register their 7th win in a row. Very very shortly. Here is Curtis on the ball. The top of the left-hand corner of the 18. He's in the corner. He's trying to take us to the final whistle. Why is the final whistle not being blown? Jonathan Moss having some weirdo, crazy extra time. And there it is. There's the final whistle. Klopp and Moyes shake hands. A slender victory for the Reds, but we'll take it nonetheless. I'm very happy to have Thomas along on the channel now. Thanks for finding us, however it was that occurred, and it was a pleasure having you in the chat box. If only more followers could be more like him, then this will be an even greater channel. So anyway, I'll give you the rest of your Saturdays to enjoy. Manchester Derby coming up tomorrow. Enjoy that one, and I will see you next time on Beaty's